All right, you guys, podcast time. We got the equipment and the perfect business plan. Give our show away for free and tell no one how to find it. Ready?
Welcome to another episode of the Brand X Podcast. I am your host, Santa, and alongside me, I have my co-host, Deuce.
¿Cómo está, bitches?
And Joe.
Tally-ho.
And you're probably saying, Santa, let me get into this. So, I guess it was last night, probably around 5-ish o'clock, I get a message from Emily Prokop from The Story Behind. Now, let me tell you about Emily. Emily's been podcasting probably about 3 years now, 4 years. I'm not really sure when she started, but she's one of these podcasters that are really like kind of behind the scenes. You really don't know what she does, but she's selfless. Like she gives to the podcasting community in so many ways. You know, she's a big part of the Podern family, and she does all this stuff for podcasters and independent podcasters, and she never really asks for anything. She just does it for the love of podcasting and podcasters. She is huge in promoting independent podcasts, like what we are. Mm-hmm. So about 5 o'clock, I get a message, and let me get to the message here, if I can find the message. Yeah, John, this is working out well.
Did you alphabetize that?
No, it's not. Jesus Christ. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. I didn't move it up. My apologies. So she writes me, "Hey, John, I was wondering if you were available for a personal favor. I'm having trouble with my daughter, and I really hope you wouldn't mind helping me out. She just broke into tears, telling me that her toy kitty told her that she's only special because of her toys, and she won't listen to me, and that she doesn't need toys to be special. So I had a plan that Santa would make a quick video telling her that she's already special and the toys don't make her special. I really hope you aren't offended by this request." Okay, I get it. I'm fat and I have a white beard. I got it. "You're the only one I know with a beard that she would believe. Would you be able to make a quick video as Santa?"
It would have been funny if you said, "You're the only one I know that's fat and has a white beard."
Well, it was a nice way of saying this. You're really the only fat guy I know that has a white beard. But I don't have a white beard. I have like a white goatee. I look more like Frosty the Snowman.
For our lives,
right?
Actually, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
She's in here. Oh, it was the white beard, not fat. Come on. We all have eyes. Look at me.
He's as helpless as a kitten in a tree.
That's right. All right. So anyhow, when Emily asks you for a favor, how do you say no to that? She does, like whenever you need something, she's always there. So there's no way that I'm not going to do this. All right. So now I'm like, oh boy, how do I, I've never really played Santa before. And so I got to get into, I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't have a Santa hat. She's like, don't worry about it. I told her Santa's on vacation and he doesn't look like Santa normally does. She thinks of everything. So I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking to myself, down at Riverwinds here, there's usually at dusk, there's usually a bunch of deer out in the field feeding. So I said, why don't I go down there, see if they're there? If I can pull up in a truck, and what I could do is I can tell her that I'm down here fattening up the reindeer and me and growing my beard out.
Well, you had to shave the beard because it's hot. It's summertime.
Yeah. Well, it can't be recognized as Santa Claus. Come on.
Right. Yeah, you got to go incognito.
Got to go incognito. So I had put my gray
sunglasses,
gray wool cap on, and I do the video. So then I'm doing the video, and I'm like, I tried to switch the video from the front facing camera to the back, and it didn't work. So I was like, oh, now I got to make 2 videos. Now I got to stitch the 2 videos together. It didn't turn out too bad. It really didn't turn out too bad. So I sent it to her. No big deal. Hope she likes it. I just don't want her to see me and say, that's not Santa Claus. There must not be a Santa Claus. Oh my God, there's no Santa Claus. And now, not only does she, I just ruined everything. She doesn't believe in Santa Claus. I didn't cheer her up. I'm just thinking of all this nonsense because
what could go wrong?
Right. Yeah. You know me. I'm a positive thinking person.
What?
Exactly. So I send a video and she's like,
what?
And she sends me a video back and, Layla's got a big smile on her face and it worked. It really worked. So I'm like, that's great. So I come back and I'm doing some editing and I go on Facebook and all of a sudden I look and I'm looking and I go, what's that? And then Emily goes on Facebook and says, oh, I really love, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have that up. I love being part of the podcasting community because people are so selfless. And she says, I asked John to do this and he did it. And what a great guy. And I look and it looks like the video's there. Like I thought she shared the video, and I was like, I could feel the blood run out of my face. Not that I'm ashamed of anything I did. I did it for a friend, but I just know that if Jerry and Dave from Bad Cop got a hold of that video, that they would torture me for months on end. But really what she did was she just took a screenshot of the video that I sent to her. So after I found out the video wasn't there and my nuts dropped back down, I wanted to say that really it's not me. I didn't do anything that no one else would have done for Emily. It's Emily. The reason that got done was because of Emily and her selflessness, not selfishness. Her selflessness for what she does. Yeah, for what she does for other podcasters, and it wasn't me because she could have called anybody and they would have done that for her.
It's like WrestleMania, John versus English.
John versus his fat lazy tongue. I fought my tongue and my tongue won. I fought my tongue and my tongue won. So Emily says, "Hi, I would never send the video. Thank you." That was pretty cool.
Yes.
So,
There you go.
but again, I don't feel like I'm a hero or I did anything out of the normal. I took 10 or 15 minutes. I stitched 2 videos together and I sent it for her daughter, and I would do it in a country second. And even if she did put the video out there, and even if Jerry and Dave did torture me for 2 months, I would do it again the next day.
I'm sure Jerry and Dave would
On an aside,
Doug, Emily, don't you give Doug that video. Whatever you do, please.
Yeah, I see Doug.
Doug from Who's Right There. Please let me have that video.
Have that video.
But
those Santas make some pretty good coin.
yeah,
If you grew that beard out and have
don't you worry. I am growing this beard out. Matter of fact, I'm not shaving anymore until after Christmas. So let's see what this thing looks like.
if you grow a big callus to other people's children, you could make some heavy change.
Right. Yeah.
See you in the Deptford Mall, hoing it up.
Ho, ho, ho. What do you want?
Or you'd be more like the Santa Claus and Ralphie in A Christmas Story. You should try out, kid.
I think I'd be more like Bad Santa. Did you ever see that movie?
Billy Bob Thornton.
I'd be Billy Bob Thornton, Bad Santa.
Billy Bob Thornton of that ilk.
Right. That kind of guy, where he's banging Lauren Graham in the pool. One of my favorite scenes, to be quite honest with you.
You're a maniac.
I digress.
No, but that was pretty cool.
She already said she would put the video up as a Patreon reward for Brand X. Oh, no, that's okay. We don't need money.
Yeah.
What, and walk away from all of this?
Yes. You don't think we could do better than this? So I'm in a little bit better mood this week than I was last week. And we didn't put out a show last week. We have a lost episode again.
Yeah.
Well, it's more of a misplaced episode.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Our Facebook fans got to see the catastrophe in progress.
If you want us to go to Facebook Live, episode 66, and go watch that debacle that would happen. I tried to do too much.
I think you're being needlessly hard on yourself.
Well,
everything that could go wrong.
Well, let me just tell you what happened after we turned the mics off. So there's a podcasting conference that's just down the road. It was 10 miles down the road. So there's a bunch of podcasters down there. My nephew Justin was down there.
Yeah. So you put time pressure on yourself trying to get to that.
Right. And remember the phone was going off. They're calling me, where are you? And all this stuff. So after you guys left, I drove down there. I walked up to the bar. The hottest bartender I've ever seen walks up to me and she says, "Can I get you anything?" And I'm like, 1,000 things went in my mind. But the only thing that came out of my mouth was the biggest Jack and Coke you have. She goes, "Do you want a double?" I said, "If you have a triple, I'll take a triple." So she gives me like
milkshake glass.
A beer glass, like a 22, 24 ounce beer glass full of Jack and Coke and a big giant straw.
What the hell did that cost?
I drank $70 worth of Jack and Coke.
I was going to say, filling a glass
you could have
like
just
that
bought a
up.
fucking bottle.
I could have bought a bottle. So I go down there. I drank the first 3 like it was just water. I just sucked them straight down. By the 4th one, I was in a groove. So
yeah.
No aches, no pains.
No. I mean, I just had this nice little going on, and I'm joking and cutting it up. And I mean, there were some major podcast people there, the Dave Jackson and Heather Ortiver and Jessica Kupperman, my old co-host from Off in the Weeds. So we just had a blast. And I think I got out of there about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, should I? Well, see, the reason I did that was Justin had a room there, which had two queen size beds. So the worst thing, you get your, I thought he had his hand up. I was like, you want to ask a question?
Yeah.
So, I had a room. Like if I drank too much, I had a room. I don't know what it is now. Like before, if I would have drank that much, I'd have been throwing up all the next day.
How much did you weigh then?
Okay. Good point. Never thought of that.
Yeah, the body weight to consumption ratio is in your favor now.
Yeah, so what I did was I kind of hung out to 1:30, and I didn't really feel that bad, so I just drove home. I drank a little bit of water. Next day, I was fine. I felt fine. So I went to the conference and everything, and then I came back, and when I was at this podcasting conference, like everybody just wanted like, oh, you got a card, you got a card, you got a card. I gave out like 30 cards. Mm-hmm. And we got a bunch of new clients that I had to take care of. They wanted to, the pricing and can you do this show and you do this. And also I spent so much time doing that. I couldn't get to it. Every time I'd bring it up, something else would happen.
You had another fire to put out.
And so then it was like Wednesday night. I'm like, okay, I'll get up first thing Wednesday morning and I'll take care of this. Well, remember I called you and said, hey, we're going to be at the Tilted Kilt. I figured I'd take Justin. He couldn't get back because of the hurricane.
Right.
It went through Atlanta, so he couldn't fly back. His flight was canceled. So I said, well, let's go to the Tilted Kilt. We'll get some dinner. And I know they play free poker there, so we'll go. So I take Justin there. He gets white girl wasted. I mean, like, I don't even know what he's talking about. Like,
racist.
English is coming out of his mouth, but it makes no sense. So it's me.
Speaking in tongues.
The Jimmy. And Justin.
Did Jimmy say to the waitress, do you know who I am?
No, he didn't. But I got to tell you, the waitress was like this cutest little waitress, and she sat down with us and everything. And she goes, do you know how old, she says something about how old am I? And I'm like, I don't know, 25. And she's like, no. I'm like, 30. And she's like, no. I'm like, okay, she's younger.
19, 20.
I go, 20. I go, 21. She goes, no. I go, 20. She goes, yeah. She's a year older than my daughter, Christina. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, geez. So Justin and the Jimmy, they laser eyes on her. So we decided to play poker. And it was me, Jimmy. I said the only way I would play is if they could put us all at the same table, because I don't want to be at a different table than everybody else. We're just there to have fun and play cards. So Jimmy gets knocked out first. Then me and Justin, we get moved to a table together. Then me and Justin make the final table. And then Justin, he was so drunk, we didn't even know what he was doing. No one could put him on a hand. He ended up getting knocked out 6th, and I ended up winning the tournament. So that was nice. So I got a $25 gift certificate. The bar, gift. The bar bill and for dinner and drinks was like the bill was like $130 or something like that
for the three of you.
Yeah,
that ain't bad.
Yeah, well, especially how much Justin had.
Well, that's what I mean, because the drinks there aren't cheap.
No, and I didn't have. I just drank iced tea. Mm-hmm. I learned my lesson. So
I'm done.
Yeah. So then I came back and went. Wednesday morning, I didn't even know where he was. Like he didn't, where he was sleeping. He wasn't there. I checked outside. He slept on that couch behind you. I don't know. I guess he came down here. He didn't want to throw up upstairs, so I guess he came down here and used the bathroom down here.
I'll throw up on this nice couch.
I'll throw up in the toilet down there in the Brand X studio.
Or maybe I'll throw up on our mixer here.
Oh, could you see? I come down here and there's a pile of throw up on the brand new mixer.
There'd have been a murder. A $600 vomit receptacle.
Right. So, he left on Thursday. I just could not get to the show. So there is a show there. It'll come out. But it really made me think about how we do the show and what should we do with Facebook. And because I don't know if we should do the whole show on Facebook. Should we just do like half the show on Facebook or do the beginning of the show and say, if you want to hear the rest of the show, the stories we're going to do, subscribe to the show. Mm-hmm. Because we do have a good following. There's people in here, they're listening, they're watching, they're interacting with us. I don't want to stop that.
Yeah.
We're getting more interaction on Facebook and social media. People are starting to see the shows. We're not getting the same downloads, but if you take the views and the downloads and add them together.
It gets out there. And not only that, but
how do I care?
Yeah, well,
it's the breast milk brownies. Do I care how they're being consumed as long as the breast milk is getting in somebody? Right? Yeah. No?
Oh, no. Also, not everybody is going to download a podcast.
Right. Because
they're going to say, well, let me just watch it here. And,
Because a lot of people that are our age, I don't know a podcast, I don't know how to do that, but I can watch it on Facebook. Yeah. So I don't know what to do. We were thinking about
what to do.
We were thinking about just doing the beginning of the show and cutting Facebook off. But as I'm sitting here, I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Anybody in the chat room want to join in and let me know what you think? Whether you think we should?
They're not going to yell at them if they.
My friends.
No. Okay.
My young and handsome.
I'm glad you brought that up because I almost forgot to do this. Because do we have any kind of like? Is that a card table? Yeah, it's a poker table, David. Oh, Mike. Hey, look, the Mike's here. The Jimmy's brother, Mike's here. Okay.
Hey, Mike. What's up? Should have kept that vet.
Do we have any? Do we have any kind of music like apology music?
Apology music?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to eat some crow here. Hat in hand. Hey, Joe just joined.
Welcome back, Joe.
Well,
hey,
welcome, Joe.
I'm here. Yeah, that's my buddy Dave about the card table. Yes, it is a card table. We need
it's a poker table. We're going to do some switching around with the podcast.
We're a low budget podcast at this point, so
I don't know. There's a lot of equipment around here. I don't know about I know it looks low budget, but I don't know. We have pretty good sounds. So anyhow, let's get into this. I don't think that's it.
It's not like apology music.
I don't think that's apology music.
It's not like something that you can like search for, like apology music.
All right, hang on a second.
What comes up?
I'll just get a good blues song.
Let's try.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby.
Here, let me try this one. Here we go. Hold on.
Apology music?
That's not apology music.
That's like fuck
right,
you.
Here we go.
Fuck you.
Can we use this?
Yeah, that would work.
That works for just
at
about
this
anything.
time. WDBK
All right,
ends
stop.
broadcasting.
Right.
It's a reflex.
Hold on. I know. All right, so I've been pretty hard on Android users. Okay, I like iPhones. All right, and I've had Androids. Matter of fact, the first smartphone that I've had was an Android, and they were for work. And the first one I threw against the concrete wall, and it shattered into about 100 pieces. And then the second one they gave me, I threw out the truck window when I was going down the road about 70 miles an hour. So I bought an iPhone, and I absolutely loved it. And I was listening to Three Is Comedy, and Dave from Bad Cop... Oh, no, I was listening to Bad Cop, Bad Cop. And Dave from Bad Cop, Bad Cop came up with something, and he's absolutely right. He says iPhones are for simple people, and he's absolutely right. They're very simple to work. They have a lot of different apps. They're simple. So I like the iPhone because it's simple. But why should I berate, make fun of, and chastise people that have Android phones because they like to work harder? It shouldn't. If you want to work harder, having an Android phone, if you want to chase your little icons around because they disappear because you set it down weird, then by all means do that. It's your choice. But what I like is simple. I like being able to, like, everything where it was when I stopped is there when I go back and start again. So it is. An iPhone is for simple people. Like it's almost like a starter phone, but more powerful.
Yeah.
So
simplicity will win the day.
I want to take this time to apologize to the Android users because you like to do things the hard way. And it's your right. You're an American, damn it. And if you want to do things the hard way, who am I to tell you not to do things the hard way? So I apologize. Yeah, who am I? Okay. That's who I am. Techno Santa. So anyhow, that's my apology to Android users because you should be able to use the phone that you want to use.
Well, simplicity will win the day in engineering. That's just
you'd say that, but a lot of people. Here's the other thing. They just came out with the new iPhones. They're going to be like anywhere between $1,000 and $1,200. That's a little bit beyond my price point. Not that I'll use this.
Yeah, but you'll never pay that up front. You'll pay that over the course of the contract, and that's how they get you.
Yeah, but with an Android phone, they'll give them to you. Here's this. It's like a bowl of soup. Here you go. Here, free. You want a phone? Here's a free Samsung. Here you go. Take it. It's for free. So why, and I'm paying $650 over the life of the whatever contract I have for the phone. And, Androids, they're just giving them away. It's like a candy bar. How many items can I store on my iPhone clipboard? 1. Why would you need to store more? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Why do you need why do you need multiple clipboards on a freaking phone? I have no idea why you would need multiple clipboards. You highlight something, you copy it, you put it wherever you were supposed to do it. I don't get that. But hey, have at it. What can I tell you? Mm-hmm. And you know something, Doug? This is Doug from Who's Right Podcast. I listened to your last episode, and you were already saying that the Androids were shit, and you couldn't wait to get an iPhone. And I thought Anthony was going to lose his mind because you were going to go over to the light side. He likes to be over on the dark side. So anyhow, that's my apology.
Do Android phones not charge well?
Apparently Doug's doesn't.
It's like, that was funny.
Yeah, because it says, it doesn't, it's not charging right now.
Because he didn't even skip a beat. It was like, charge. What do you want the phone to do? Charge.
Well, why do you need that?
So evidently that was an issue. So I went right from flip phone to an iPhone. But only because I had an iPhone computer. So to me, it was the obvious thing to do because it would interface easier and I didn't have to jump through hoops.
Yeah, see, I'm an Apple fanboy, so I have the computer, the laptop, the iPad, the iPhone, and everything just integrates.
I must say I am starting to enjoy my iPhone. But,
okay.
Like I said, I work for a defense contractor now, and I need all kinds of high technology, and the old Samsung wasn't cutting it.
Okay.
So I got this. The only thing I don't like is now I'm being overwhelmed by information. Every little thing that happens, I'm being alerted. So
I'll show you how to shut them off.
I do shut them off.
Okay.
But then
you're right.
But then the opposite extreme occurs. You're not being alerted. You forget about every fucking thing. And you look, and you're missing everything.
You turn something on, all of a sudden there's like 7 or 8 messages. I got it. But anyhow, you do you, phone people. You use the phone that you want to be using. This first story scares the bejesus out of me, to be quite honest with you.
Uh-oh.
Sausage time!
Top model comes out as trans after walking in New York City Fashion Week. Holy cow. Wednesday, top model Teddy Quinlivan revealed to CNN that he's not a biological female he presents himself to be in the fashion world. Okay, so basically what he is, he's a dude that identifies as a transgender woman. He made the revelation in between fashion shows during New York's Fashion Week. Now, here's the problem. You can't tell this chick's a guy. This guy's a chick. Whatever. No Adam's apple. Now,
it looks like
see, now everybody's like, everybody, when the cat's out of the bag, everybody's a genius.
Yeah.
But
did you rub one out to this dude?
No, I did not rub one out to this dude.
You're very defensive.
But yes, I am. But like all the things that I use to sniff out these transgenders, like the Adam's apple, the big giant hands, he's got none of it.
He's got no curves either.
But all these models, they don't have curves either.
Yeah, but they always have that proportional ratio.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
This guy is like a...
All right, well, there'll be pictures of him in the show notes. The 23-year-old is a catwalk and campaign regular, having walked for the likes of Jeremy Scott, Carolina Herrera.
I don't know who the fuck these people are.
Diane von
Furstenberg.
They're designers.
Right, they're designers. And since being discovered by Louis Vuitton.
Louis
Vuitton,
I guess.
Right. These names are just...
Or you got to... Just Emily... Louis Vuitton. And then it kind of comes more natural.
There you go. He began transitioning at age 16 and has always presented himself as a cisgender female or a woman who has been born a biological woman. I've been presenting as a cisgender for so long, he said, since I transitioned when I was 16. I've been living as a cis female. I was very lucky because I won the genetic lottery. I look a certain way and my voice hasn't dropped. I guess his nuts haven't dropped either.
Now, what is cis female? What does that mean?
I don't know.
We got all these terms.
I think it's just a dude pretending to be a girl. It's just a fancy term for it.
Is that
that's what he's doing.
Well, they invent terms for themselves. That it's not even It's not medical. It's not scientific. They just come up with things, and
Well, cisgender. I'm sure they have. They're always yelling something. Cystic fibrosis.
Non-binary. Whatever. So there's always some bullshit thing they got coming at you. Yeah?
Cisgender.
To make it
devoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender corresponds with their birth sex.
Sounds like a lot of psychobabble to me.
Yeah. Is a term for people whose gender identity matches the sex that they were assigned at birth. Cisgenders may also be defined as those who have a gender identity or platform.
A platform?
Or perform. Jesus Christ, John. Or perform a gender role society considers appropriate for one's sex. It's the opposite of the term transgender. This confuses the shit out of me. I read it 3 times.
That cleared it up nicely.
Yeah, right.
I have no idea. Okay, let's go to the Urban Dictionary.
I think they make all this shit up.
It's an adjective for someone whose gender corresponds with their assigned sex. I'm perfectly comfortable identifying as a gender my parents put on my birth certificate.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't
make any sense to me. I don't know.
Again,
I think these people are all fucked up
Well, it's definitely
and you can call me all the names you want and it's phobic this or whatever, but you know what? I think you got a psychological problem because you don't even know what you are.
Right. Like, does he still have beans and Franks? Franks and beans?
I guess.
Did he have it cut off?
Mm-hmm.
And when he dates, does he date women or does he date dudes? Like, there's a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
There always are. You need a goddamn roadmap just to navigate this stuff now.
I thought some college professor got to that kid.
Well, not at 16.
Right.
Some teacher with a political bent got to that kid.
The model says he fears a threat of violent backlash for telling the world he's trans. Why? I mean, I don't care. To be you. Just, I don't know. But when you come out as a transgender to the world on a platform, that's where the word platform came from, there may be some backlash. People might be violent against me because of something I never chose. Well, you did choose it. You had a tallywhacker.
Mm-hmm.
You started dressing in female clothing and putting makeup on.
Well, he still has one, right? Or did he? Did he have Did he have a lop? Did he have to lop it off of me?
I don't know. I still think he has his Franks and beans.
When you look at the pictures of it,
you can't tell.
I mean, it's very.
He doesn't have a package.
Very boyish.
Again,
there's no curves.
If I didn't tell you that was,
I knew. Well, last we discussed, I knew enough that I would not find it appealing.
You wouldn't. Yes.
Well, first of all, and I know I'm going to hear something for this. I don't think the models that they present as these
right.
I don't think
they're attractive if they're not made up.
They're not. Well, yeah, they don't really do anything for me. I mean, I like the old style. I like the Christy Brinkley's.
Little meat on their bones.
Yeah, I like the hips and the the nice.
Damn straight. Right.
This guy, ugh.
I think the personal is political. It's political, but I'm also doing it for myself. I'm ready to come out. Hello! But I think the times we live in elevated the sense of importance and urgency. Hey, I'm glad he's out because now people know. Like, you're sitting there, you go to this thing, you see a fashion model, all of a sudden he gives you a wink. You're like, hey, fashion model, right? What the hell? And the next thing you know, one thing leads to another, and
I know a story of a person, and this happened in the 60s.
Grab him by the pussy.
A friend of his, they were out at a club, and they met with this girl, and, he's sitting in the booth and everything, and so they see that things were getting a little interesting, so they leave, slop. And they leave. He leaves his friend there with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then he reaches down, and it's not a girl.
Yikes!
Yeah. So, I mean, you always hear stories about that. So he started to beat the shit out of the dude.
See, that's not right.
And then
I don't know.
Well, then it got worse because
it's fraud.
The guy ended up beating the shit out of him.
No, he liked it.
The guy liked the beating.
Yeah, he liked the beating.
The female liked the beating.
The female impersonator liked the beating. It was like, ooh. And then he says, well, then what do I do then? Kill her? Or kill him?
Well,
I mean, you can't.
How about just excusing yourself and going into the bathroom?
Well, wait a minute. This happened in 1968, 69.
I understand
different
that.
Era.
Yeah, I understand that.
But it's just like, what do you do at a person? You're beating the shit out of them to punish them.
And they're enjoying it.
And they get off on it.
Usually you run.
You're pretty much done. You know,
you have nowhere to
go.
Even if it was a guy and you were beating the shit out of him and he enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, that's who he was beating the shit out of.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right.
Ah, boy.
See, nowadays you just excuse yourself, go into the bathroom and rinse your mouth out with mouthwash and brush your teeth with a wire brush.
Burn your hands.
Burn your hands and poke out your eyes.
I'm going to be in that situation,
Yeah, could you imagine that?
No, I can't. No, I can't.
Yeah. But see, now if you tell that story, because it's you're just a hater. Somehow you're just
I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater.
I'm just telling you the way it is now. If you tell, I think that's a perfectly rational response to be repulsed and disgusted that you were deceived by a dude.
It's
okay.
fraud.
And because you had that natural reaction, you are now a son of a bitch and you're a hater.
Right.
You're supposed to you have to accept that.
He thinks
right.
He's a girl. Yeah, but he's got a cock.
Yeah.
And usually, what am I doing here? Like, am I going to, what's that thing where they take the two heads and jam them together? What's that called again? There's a word for it. I forget. But anyhow.
Coconut smashing?
I guess. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about
that
there.
Fucking Daniel Ripples. That sick son of a bitch. The guy from Throwing the Trigger. He's still trying to, gross me out. Or, try to get me. Right? He sends me this thing where it's like these two guys, and I guess one of them's uncircumcised, and the uncircumcised guy takes his foreskin and it pushes it up over the other cock, and they're they're locked together.
You didn't throw up?
No, I didn't throw up.
I would have. At least I've gotten the yips.
I was like, well, at first you see something like that, and you're like, what am I looking at? Is that taped?
Oh, if I can't easily identify it within 10 seconds, I just close the window.
You just bail?
Yeah, I'm not going to. It's not the fucking Rosetta Stone. I'm not going to learn anything here.
There's a name for it. I can't remember what the name is.
Yeah, gross. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I'd have gotten the yips.
I guess. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
But, yeah, there was one of those. I forget what it is. There's a name for it. I'm sure someone will tell us.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully Daniel Ripples is on tonight.
Yeah, where is he when you need him?
Yeah, he's taking that 6-week break.
He's
about 3 weeks into it now, maybe 4.
He's in love with Trinity.
The Trinity.
Yeah, they're going to baseball games together, and look at him.
Well,
hey, good for him.
Jealous?
I'm happy for him.
All right.
I'm very happy for them, the happy couple. Okay?
With the Daniel.
He's taking his 6 weeks off.
I like that name, too, Trinity.
That is a nice name.
It's from The Matrix. See, John, your conspiracy theory is...
See?
It's Carrie Ann Moss's character.
Right.
Yeah, you knew.
I had no idea who it is. I know. Yeah. You know what? I know who she is when I see her. Yeah, she's Trinity. Like when I see her in another movie, I'm like, holy cow,
Trinity.
There's Trinity.
Yeah.
She was just in a movie. It was called. Oh, it was a TV show called. Oh boy. Okay, so it was a TV show called Humans, and in the show, she's a scientist.
Yeah.
And it's all about robotics and like the.
Oh, after your own heart.
Yes, but she's the scientist that's trying to put the consciousness into a robot because her daughter has died, and she has her daughter's consciousness in a computer. So
she's on a mission now.
She's on a mission to upload her daughter's consciousness into a robot. She wants to be the first co-host on the Blender and Toaster show. To be quite honest, when that happens.
Hey there, y'all. It's Juliette Miranda with the Unwritable Rant podcast, and you are listening to my besties and the world's greatest shit starters, Brand X Podcast.
Okay, we got a fist fight over a painted penis.
Yeah.
2 drivers brawled in the Lincoln Tunnel after one spray paints a penis onto the other's truck. His painting had a harsh critic. A motorist got a beating Tuesday morning in the Lincoln Tunnel after he spray painted a penis on the side of a box truck during a confrontation with its driver, sources said. The craziness began on the New Jersey side of the tunnel at about 9:30 a.m. when the 2 drivers nearly crashed into each other. They started arguing and kept it up as the 2 vehicles rolled through the tunnel. Once they reached a red light on the New York side of the tunnel, the motorist in the car jumped out and drew his phallic portrait on the truck. The box truck driver jumped out swinging. Port Authority police... Wrong sound effect, John.
Wow, he lit him on
fire. Sharia law broke out right there.
Damn.
The box truck drummer jumped out swinging.
Oh, Mr. Salty.
Port Authority police arrived and stopped the fight. One of the men was arrested. The identities of the 2 men were not immediately available. So So, well, you never know when your muse will strike and you feel like you got to paint a penis on the guy's truck.
Well, it's one of these things is where you have whatever happens, like someone cuts somebody off. Today, it just
road rage.
Yeah, there's like a road rage incident. It happened to me just the other day. I pull out and I'm driving.
Someone painted a penis on your truck?
No, I go to turn. So I put my blinker on and I go to turn, and I guess I didn't turn fast enough for this cocksucker behind me. So all of a sudden, he blows his horn, and it's like you're into the turn, and you're like, wait a minute, and you want to bail out of the turn and chase him. But then I'm like, what am I going to do once I catch him? What's going to happen then?
Like a dog chasing the car, like the joke, like Heath Ledger said.
Like the Joker.
Yeah. What am I going to do? So I just gave him a one-finger salute out the window and turned.
Did he return the salute?
You know what? I wasn't even paying attention, to be quite honest with you.
I like
good military personnel.
What do you want me to do? I mean, I'm turning. I put my blinker on. I don't understand what I didn't get out of your way, Your Highness, fast enough.
Well, a lot of that shit, I think it is people with their phones, they don't pay attention.
And then all of a sudden they look up and the next thing you know,
they weren't paying attention, and when they start paying attention, hey, this guy in front of me's turning.
Right.
And they get mad at you because of their inattentiveness.
That's very, very well could be. I don't know. I was like, I don't understand why he beeped at me. And
I like headlight paranoia. That's even better.
Headlight paranoia?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was coming home from work one day. You know Red Bank Road where it goes underneath the railroad trestle?
Sure.
Guy pulls out of McDonald's right in front of me. I mean, and he knew he cut me off, but I was like, so I called him an asshole, and he saw me in the mirror. So now I'm driving behind him, and you can see his eyes like glaring at me in his mirror. We go underneath the railroad trestle. It's kind of shady out. You go on. What happens? My lights go on. He sees my lights go on. He thinks I want to,
want to throw down.
Yeah. So now he's like looking at me. He's like, this was perfect karma. We get up to where the Wawa. Yeah, first I light him on fire. So this was brilliant. We get to the light, and he's like looking at me. He's so busy looking at me, and the light turns green. Well, he goes, as he's going, he's looking at me. Well, the car in front of him, for whatever reason, turned right and stops. Right into it. Crashes into the car. I just go, I'm laughing at him. I get around him. You friggin' idiot. He wanted so much to think that I was,
Yeah.
His paranoia
built this up in his head.
I like it.
Sucks to be him.
I don't know. I guess maybe I'm calming down in my old age.
Well, the first lesson I taught my son during driving lessons, he sat in the driver's seat, and I sat in the passenger seat, strapped in, adjusted the mirrors, and I said, now, before we start, rule number 1, the world is awash in assholes, and most of them have driver's licenses.
Look at
and
you.
as long as you remember that, you'll be okay, so, and that's how his driving lesson started. And then it's not often your kid tells you were right.
That's true.
A couple of years had to go by, and you know what? Remember when you told me? I says, yeah, I say that all the time. I says, well, you were right. And I says, of course I was right. You think I was? You labor under the delusion that I was always 50.
Yeah,
exactly.
I got the Genghis driving plans.
Now,
what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop! No, first gear. Jesus.
Yeah, but not like Grandpop. He was worse. Beating the shit out of my Uncle Carmen and biting him on the shoulder as he's driving.
What?
Oh, yeah. Because he wasn't driving right.
Bites him on the shoulder.
While in the center in South Philadelphia.
Okay.
So, like 16 blocks later, my Uncle Carmen just pulled over, parked the car, and walked back.
I would too. I'd take the bus.
Imagine that. You're driving and you see
your father's trying to
beat your ass. Oh.
Like a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. I mean, you're just driving along and then...
You don't know how to drive. You're dependent on your father to show you. And the next thing you know, you're getting punched and bitten on the shoulder and the arm. You're like...
Yeah.
Fending them off.
Jeez.
What the hell are you doing?
They're driving the bus. Paul Luckman left unable to get an erection after being scratched by a cat and contracting rare feline disease. Okay.
Yikes.
The unidentified patient from Belgium suffered erectile dysfunction due to an invasive cat scratch disease. A 23-year-old man was left unable to get an erection after being scratched by a cat, doctors have revealed. It's over and over again. Yeah, there we go. Apparently,
I can't get hard.
he suffered erectile dysfunction due to an invasive cat scratch disease. According to BMJ case reports, it is caused by bacteria called Bartonella henselae, I hope I'm saying that right, found in the mouth and claws of cats.
See, I would have invented the catapult. I'd have opened up the door and threw that cat right out of the house.
Oh, what was he doing to the cat? Oh, yeah, that made him...
Well, maybe you're just out of the shower and you're drying yourself off, and you shake the towel.
To bob those boys around, huh?
Yeah, you shake the, you're doing the towel thing, right?
Anywho, those coming into contact with disease can suffer fevers, pustules, whatever that is, with complications from the illness.
They're like weeping scabs.
Okay. From the illness even becoming fatal. The young man told doctors he suffered the general symptoms, including pain in his testicles. Oh. He later revealed he was injured by the claws of a cat in his own home after further consultation. The patient was successfully treated in 3 weeks after a course of antibiotics.
So he got his wood back.
Yeah, he got it back.
Attaboy.
Doctors wrote
Didn't need the blue pill, huh?
I guess not. Or the red. Now the new one's the red pill. They're fighting.
It's like the Matrix again.
Yeah.
The blue pill, the red pill.
Red pill. The doctors wrote in the report the symptoms quickly vanished and he fully regained his erectile function. Good for him. His wood is back. In this case, the patient was unable to provoke erection. Provoke? Despite his will, even during periods of calm symptoms. Cat scratch disease is caught by kissing the furry friends or even touching their fur, then touching your face.
What?
Yeah. Oh, well.
What's going on in England?
Yeah, I don't know.
In extreme cases, it can cause brain swelling and heart infections. Yikes.
Those coming into contact with the disease can suffer fevers, pustules with complications from the illness, even becoming fatal. I already said that. Why did the bacteria? I did that too. Okay.
It's picked up by a cat from flea bites
or droppings getting into their wounds. Well, I guess that's like pink eye then. You get shit in your face, yeah. It is then spread when the cat licks a person's open wound or bites or scratches hard enough to break the surface of the skin.
Oh, come on.
And they go into symptoms again, which I already said. Apparently, a limp dick is another one. So, okay, there you go.
Yo, limber dick, get over here.
Poor guy. He kissed his cat, and next thing you know, he can't get it off.
He kissed the cat, and he liked it.
I kissed the cat. Okay.
All right. Good gracious.
It's been a slow news week.
Not really,
No.
if you want to talk about politics.
I don't want to talk about politics.
I don't know why we can't talk about politics, as long as we're talking on the side that...
Because then you guys fight, and then I feel like,
No,
well, what the fuck
I'm actually on the side of the right this time.
In what category?
Well, with these nonsense, what's going on in these college campuses where you can't even talk about anything because speech,
yeah.
They need counseling if somebody disagrees with them.
Yeah, right. Well, see, to me, that's not even a left-right
Wow,
thing. That's
Deuce
just
backed away from the mic like it was on fire.
I had to scratch.
Oh, you had cat scratch fever?
Scratch fever?
Yes. No, I had to pull my headphones off, and I figured I might get feedback. I don't want to do that.
No, but this whole thing with with Berkeley, enough cops show up. Yeah, they're very well behaved last night.
That's right. They arrested 9 of them, and all of a sudden, everybody was fine.
Yeah,
there was no more bullshit.
Right.
I love that.
You got to get a couple old school Philly cops.
Right, go over there and bust some heads.
That shit didn't happen when Frank Rizzo was mayor.
Oh, you didn't see that shit.
No. Now, when they were burning every town down.
Philly didn't burn.
Yeah.
No, it did
There's
not.
only a few cities in the country that didn't
believe
burn.
It or not,
Philly was one of them.
Philly isn't like that. I mean, well, I won't say they're never like that, but in general, the Philadelphia population is not very.
From what I
tear down
remember,
the city.
They tried, and then the cops came out and just squashed it.
Yeah.
Just 100% squashed it. Remember, you say that Philadelphia dropped a bomb.
Well, that was Willie B. Good.
Still,
Wilson Good.
The mayor dropped a bomb on a house full
burned down a city block.
and burnt down like 2 city blocks.
62 homes on Osage Avenue.
Yep.
May 13th, 1985.
Burned them to the
It was
ground.
Mother's Day that year.
Was it really?
That was on Mother's Day.
Now, is there a Wilson B. Good statue somewhere? Because I think they should want to take that down.
There probably is. Who knows?
What happened? I dropped a bomb. They said it wouldn't just catch on fire.
And then he told the firemen not to go in and put it out.
Well, because they were shooting.
Yeah.
There was shooting going on. So how are you supposed to put a fire out when the people are shooting at you?
I like what Frank Russo suggested. We're going to armor plate a bulldozer, just drive it right through.
Oh, that's what he did at the original
move.
The original one that happened in 78 where Officer James Ram got killed. It was in 78 or 77 or 78 when the first one.
The first move.
The second confrontation. And that was years in the making because they built that home, and for 3 years they bothered those poor people on that street, running across on their rooftops, stealing from them and rummaging through their trash. And
they had all kinds of dogs and dog
feces and all kinds of shit.
Then at insult to injury, they bombed the city blocks, and then they got a contractor that was going to rebuild the homes, and the guy screwed the shit out of the city and those people. He used cut rate materials, half-ass building. Within like 5 years they had gigantic foundation cracks.
Yeah. And those houses they're all sitting there.
They're
condemned.
Unlivable. Yeah,
they're all condemned.
They're totally unlivable.
Way to go, Philly! Way to go!
Yeah, really.
No wonder we don't have a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. All right, so it looks like I'm going to be dying soon.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you, Deuce? You want to do this one?
Sure, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, why not? I found it. I'll put it up there. Okay. Avoid death. Stand up. Too much time spent in a chair could shorten our lives, even if we exercise, according to a study that uses objective measures to find the links between lengthy sitting time and death among middle-aged and older adults. More hopefully, the study also suggests that we might be able to take steps to see what they did there? Take steps. Take steps to reduce our risk by taking steps every half hour or so. Most of us all certainly have heard by now that being seated and unmoving all day is unhealthy. Many past epidemiologist studies have noted that the longer people sit on a daily basis, the likelier they are to develop various diseases, including obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. They also are at heightened risk for premature death. This association between sitting and ill health generally remains, the past science shows, whether people exercise or not. Most of these studies have relied on people's memories of how they spent their time on any given day, blah, 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 blah. So for the new study, which was published, well, that's just So for the new study, which was published this week in Annals of Internal Medicine, scientists from Columbia University in New York City and many other institutions turned to an extensive database of existing health information about tens of thousands of Caucasian and African American men and women 45 or older who were part of the study of stroke risk. The participants underwent a battery of health tests, and about 8,000 of them also had worn accelerometers, whatever, for a week to track their daily movements. Huh. And so basically, this is a very lengthy article, but the long and the short of this is try to do what you can while you're working to get up and move about. Now, having said this, when I arrived here tonight, I pulled into the driveway, and John was sitting in his pickup truck like this.
The redneck lawn chair?
Oh, he was like,
sound asleep, mouth wide open.
And I'm like, well, this is great. He's dead. So it's just like, now what do? I don't know how to work the equipment. So
take his picture, put it on Facebook.
Yeah, the best I could do is go on to Twitter and John's dead. There'll be no more shows anymore. And it's just like, what am I going to do?
There's actually an app that you can use. I guess you can use it on Mac. I don't know, but on a PC, I don't know, but on a Mac, there's a thing. It's called a Pomodoro, and basically what it is, it's a timer. So you set it, you hit it, and for 24 minutes, it times. And then once it goes off, there's a long alarm goes off, and it gives you a 5-minute break. So you're supposed to, every 24 minutes, you're supposed to get up,
we
walk
got that
around,
at my
stretch,
work,
work, stretch, and whatever, and then sit back down, hit the thing again, and go another 24 minutes. My problem, and you've seen me do it here, I'll be sitting here, and sometimes I'll come down here and I'll start doing whatever I'm doing, and I won't get up out of this chair until like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. I'll sit here the whole time, where the cheeks of my ass go to sleep. Okay.
My ass is asleep.
My ass is asleep. So I am trying to do that where you get up and walk around, because the other thing too is it does make you feel better. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, it does. Yeah. We got at my work. They're called ergo stands, and what it is, I got my dual monitors and my keyboard and all that. It's all hooked up to this thing. You stand up and you pull the whole thing up.
I'm going to get one. They're like $400.
Yeah, they're $400.
Now, Joe is techno bully. I got dual monitors.
Joe. Look at Joe. He's got dual monitors.
Oh, yeah. They don't mess around over there. They gave me everything I need. In fact,
not like here.
I got 3 monitors actually, because my laptop is plugged into the
My laptop.
But that's what I do. I'm building a home office, and I'm upgrading everything, getting cable, and
Why wouldn't I know that Doug from Who's Right Podcast would know what it was like when you took your two penises and jammed them together with the foreskin? It's called docking.
Ugh.
Docking?
He's got it in here.
Ugh.
Docking, yes.
Where is he? I don't see him. How come you always see his post?
I don't know. I guess because I'm sitting here and it's
You're on a
live.
7-second delay.
I don't know. This has been there for a while. I don't know how long it's been there. But anyhow, it's called docking.
Probably because Doug's not friends with you on your account.
No, I'm on the Brand X podcast.
Oh, are you?
page.
I
Yeah,
thought you
so
were-
everything he
I thought you were
posts,
yours.
I've been seeing. It's just I don't see it when.
Right. So anyhow,
It is what it is.
so if you take a
turtle,
turtle,
if you take a turtleneck cock,
right, and a regular, or I guess two turtleneck cocks would work better. I don't know.
The way you described it, it was a
putting a
turtleneck cock
And a regular
and a mock turtleneck cock.
a mock turtleneck cock.
I didn't mean that to rhyme, but it happens sometime.
Yes. So, and then you pull the skin over the mock turtleneck, and then
And what does that prove? I mean, is there some kind of, do they get some kind of gratification out of that or what? I don't know.
hey, look, we're joined as one.
I would think it's unsanitary on top of everything else.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good way to get schmegma on your junk.
Yeah,
Right.
Another man's schmegma on your junk.
Ugh.
Right. It's gay. It's as gay as gay gets.
No. Hey, look, I think even a lot of gay guys, some of them can be pretty fastidious, like, I don't think I want to do that,
All right. So listen, what I'm going to do is see, I'm uncircumcised. So you come here. All right. Bring your cock over here.
Come here, you.
All right. Come here, you. You know what? I got to stop this because next thing you know, it'll be on bad cop, bad cop.
Jerry just perked up.
Yeah. Jerry's ears were like,
Well, it's funny you say that. I'll be talking about that later on. I got a little soundbite from Jerry, and they turned me on to that. It's funny because now people, when they're podcasting and they hear something like that, they're like, oh, no, John's got it now. So.
Comes a mission.
All right. So I guess the thing is to not stand up so much, or not to sit down.
Not to stand.
Don't stand up so much.
Yeah, just
drive
yourself into that.
What you want to do is you want to stand up, but you don't want to take your two cocks and put them together. That's the message of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
very
take
challenging to do that sitting.
no docking
because nobody likes that.
Docking.
No, I would say no. Well, some people do.
Well, apparently somebody likes it. They're doing it.
Can you imagine how drunk you got to be?
I was going to say, how much tequila do you have to take?
Listen,
hey,
why don't we try this?
Hush your face, it's coming straight to your ears. A podcast network that's changing gears, bringing fresh funky pods with a fresh funky beat. A family of pods that are bringing the heat. There ain't no stopping us. Keep coming back to us, sick ass pods that'll make you hush. www hush your face. www hush your face. www hushyourface.com.
All right, Deuce. Tell us about the Breakroom.
all right. This week in the Breakroom,
New segment.
I've heard of these people before. But I never thought I would meet one in my life. This is the first time I really interacted with this guy. There's a lot of overtime available at work. He's not on my squad. He's on the other day shift squad. He was working overtime, and he believes that the world is flat.
Really?
He's a flat earther.
Oh, no.
I thought that was a joke.
No, I thought so too. And I had heard of like flat earth people, but like he's like all in. So at first, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, okay, and there's a bunch of us sitting in there. And then another ball breaker who has some weird thoughts on his, but he was asking him questions about this because, he's a pretty good interviewer and he's like trying to draw them out and everything. So apparently, I didn't know there's a shitload of videos on YouTube about flat Earth and the views that they have.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And this guy was like all in, like he doesn't believe there's no. Well, first off, he would ask him like, well, how do you know that the world is flat? And he was just like, well, I don't know how to prove it. So like, how do you prove that the world is round? And we're
right.
Well,
There's the obvious.
There's the obvious, like go up and high enough, and you'll see the curvature of the Earth. There's pictures of the Earth where you don't see like North America, but you'll just see South America or that
or you can conduct the same experiment that Aristophanes.
There's
Aristophanes.
Yeah.
There's also no such thing as gravity because apparently what they believe is the Earth is a disc.
Okay.
And I found this fascinating because this guy was
Like a
all
45.
Oh yeah, he's
It's like it's a disc,
Yeah.
and it's being pushed continually upward, but he doesn't know by what. And it's like an unknown force that just pushes the Earth up, and that's
Really?
what keeps us pinned to the disc. Okay, and the sun isn't as far away or as high as they think it is.
God.
It's only like 23 miles or so above the planet.
Really?
Yeah. And the North Pole is in the center, apparently, because he started pulling up videos. And apparently the North Pole is in the center of the disc.
Right.
And Antarctica is really just a frozen ridge of mountains that surround the outer edge. And that's what keeps the water from flowing over the side of the disc.
wow.
Really?
Dude, it was like really surrealistic, you know. It was like, now, I have to say, the guy was on night shift for years. He did come to the other day shift team, so I kind of knew him. But this was the first time I really ever like talked to the guy or anything. He's a nice guy, he really is.
But he believes
he legitimately believes he wasn't fucking around. He wasn't like yanking our chain or nothing like that. He legitimately thought
the Earth is
a
flat.
disc. It's
Wow.
a flat disc. And I was like, I have to talk about this on the podcast because. And now you know why I said you would lose your shit.
Oh, they're out there. Well,
You know, I never thought I would meet one.
So let me ask you this. So, like, if you're a pilot, right, and you're flying all over the world, would you know that when you got to a certain point that
I don't know.
you would fly off the end of the Earth?
Well, because I asked him those questions also, the other guy was asking the question. I just wanted to sit there and I didn't want to disturb anything,
Right.
Because we were all sit there kind of like amazed. It was very surrealistic.
not only that, but mocking these people might not be a good idea. If
Yeah, when I was in, we were all afraid he might shut down and storm out of the break room.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely want to hear.
Yeah, you want to protract this as long as you possibly can.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you get the information. See, because that's what I want to hear about things like this. I want to know why. Maybe how about if he's right and we're all wrong?
no, they're
Listen,
there.
I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love a good conspiracy theory. But that one,
I don't think that's really what you could consider a conspiracy theory. That's just really
yeah.
That's
off the
outlandish.
wall thinking.
Well, you know what amazes me is that perfectly intelligent people.
Yeah, the
sometimes-
guy was certain.
Yeah.
He's rational.
At my old job, when we have a friend of mine, we call him Angry Dave. And his thing is, okay, there's aliens inside the moon. The moon is hollow.
Okay.
Oh, he
And-
believes that too.
Yeah, the moon is hollow. There's aliens there. There's pyramids on the moon. Every now and then, the Hubble Space Telescope sees something, but the government makes sure, basically, he creates if you present probing questions, he has an answer for every one why your question is invalid.
Oh,
And-
why it's invalid, he can't answer it.
Yeah. Or no, why,
Well, they usually answer your question with a question.
right. Yeah. Or that, and to me, it's weird. It's bizarre because this guy's perfectly intelligent. I said, look, you got to know the moon isn't hollow.
I don't know
There's
that.
no alien. No,
How would I know
come on.
that?
It's a matter of mass. And, we got tides on the Earth. You don't get that with a hollow moon. And the moon would disintegrate if it was hollow. The Earth would tear it apart. And, there's a million things you could say for this.
Okay.
But he has a reason. Well, their technology is different than ours. It's and you just
So they're using a different set of physical laws.
Yeah, they have it's a whole.
There's a theory.
man.
There's a theory that we're all in a Matrix kind of situation
Right.
where this is just a holograph. We're all in a dream state. We're all connected.
Yeah.
And the Earth has already been taken over by machines. And I'm like, really?
Oh.
How did I draw the short straw for this?
How do we know?
Right? How did that happen?
Yeah, I don't. I was just dumbfounded that I never thought I would meet a person. I had no idea there was. I mean, if you have nothing but say 45 hours to kill, and you went on YouTube and just started looking up flat Earth things,
I'm going to do it.
oh,
after
there's
we're done.
tons
Oh,
of
man,
them,
it's
dude, and some of
unbelievable.
them are really long. They're extensively long videos and everything. I was dumbstruck. I had heard about this phenomenon, but I never thought I would meet someone that actually legitimately believed it, and especially someone that does the same job that I do. So it's
Yeah, really.
that
makes me nervous.
yeah, it's
Really? How did that psych test? How did he pass
Yeah,
that?
I'm glad he's on the other's team. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, right.
To be quite honest with you.
We only got sane, rational people on my team, podcasters.
Right. I'd have to have a hairy eyeball on that guy if I was on his.
But
Oh,
he's
you
a
gotta
nice
watch.
enough guy. I mean,
You gotta watch, man.
He's been here about 5 years or so.
Hey,
just
back when I worked for that company full of those religious people,
Yes.
And I don't mean to disparage. They were born again. Most
Too
of them were
late.
born
You've
again.
already
Yes,
disparaged
and I
them,
don't mean to
but
disparage. Most of them were nice people. Some of them were really out there, and they would believe this. Not only that, but they'd be very condescending that, oh, no, you don't know. They tell you in so many sugar-coated words what an asshole you are because you don't ascribe to this particular... They'd hand out pamphlets and all that. It was getting...
A pamphlet?
You'd get pamphlets, and you go to the bathroom, you come back, there's pamphlets in your toolbox about, say... oh, yeah, it was crazy. You go into the stall, there's a pamphlet in the stall. You couldn't escape these people. And the thing is, if you even made the slightest hint that you were like laughing, they get pissed.
Really?
And, and they would and these perfectly nice, rational people, all of a sudden they're doing this shit with the hellfire and all that, flames coming out of their eyes, and you're holy, So you always got to keep an eye on these guys.
Well, I would think that with the technology that we have now, and as much as we know now that we didn't know back in the early 1900s, you would think that we would be getting smarter. But it seems like we're getting
technology
dumber.
Doesn't do anything.
It seems like we're getting dumber.
Social media and YouTube contributed to that.
The dumbing down of...
Well, everyone has a voice because, think about it, there's someone out there that's good with video equipment that made lots of videos about why the earth is flat and put them on YouTube. And these people can't, I don't know, maybe why they believe it or if they just can't rationally critique things.
Hey, I know a guy that just did a Santa Claus video and sent it to some 7-year-old girl. I don't know. What can I tell you?
Look, I find Santa Claus perfectly more plausible than I do a hollow moon. I'm sorry.
Or a flat earth.
Or a flat earth, yeah.
Yeah, but we were stunned.
Well, flat earth really presents problems for Santa Claus.
Certainly does. Or does it? He seems like he could get around a little faster.
Why would it matter?
Yeah, it really wouldn't matter.
I guess.
He's still got to go to every house. Well, except for the Jews.
Actually, theoretically, it would work out very well because he's at the center of the earth.
That's true.
So
right,
he's equidistant from every
but
position.
if he's at the top of the world, the whole trip's downhill.
And then also,
yeah. Wait a minute. It's not downhill. It's just straight across. I don't know. Now I'm confused.
Yeah. So don't think into it too much. But so that was this week's adventure in the break room.
Now we're going to go to Joe's segment.
I don't have one. I don't have one now. Well, it's I'm still working on that.
Still working on a segment?
Yeah, I've been busy. There's my segment.
All right. Let's not pick on Joe.
You can pick on me. I like that sound. It's a very.
It was actually soothing.
Yeah,
the cicadas.
Yeah, if you can keep that going all night long.
Yeah, people would tune out. That would drive you crazy. Imagine if you're trying to listen to a podcast with that going on in the background.
Yeah.
Deuce pulled up today.
We're live in the swamp.
Kind of like when I was live when I went on Who's Right with Doug and Anthony, and I heard there's crickets chirping.
Because he's out in the back.
Yeah, he was on the porch because it was cooler or whatever, and he had spent time in the bathroom, and I'm like, man, those crickets are really loud. It sounded like he was in the meadow and not on his porch. like way out there.
So anyhow, Anthony. It's too funny. All righty. Should we do some nonsense in the news, or why don't we do this? Why don't we
bail out of Facebook?
Are we going to bail out of Facebook? I feel so bad. They're here.
Yeah, they're here. They're here.
They're here hanging. I don't want to bail out.
That goes away.
No, I don't want to bail out.
All right, Facebook people, please speak up. Tell us now. Do you want us to go?
No, they're here. We're going to stay. All right. So listen. I had a meltdown. Okay. I don't know what happened. I was having my period. It was the 14th day, and I had a meltdown. I had my man period, and I lost my shit. And I'm back. I'm calm. Okay.
You don't subscribe to that theory, do you?
What, man period?
Yeah.
No, of course not.
You better not.
I guess we're going to get into Time's Yours.
Time's Yours.
Time's Yours.
All right. So first part of Time's Yours, someone sent us an email at brandxpod@gmail.com. And it's prank, PHRANK. And I think they're from the United Kingdom. Just wanted to message you to let you know how much I am enjoying your podcast. I first learned about you from Bad Cop, and started listening to the Brand X podcast from the beginning about 6 weeks ago, up to episode 40. Wow. Now
they kicked ass.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's about 50 hours of...
Right. He or she, because I can't tell who this is, also started listening to Off in the Weeds, which was a podcast I did with Jessica Kupperman. And then she got to 26 and realized that we stopped at 39. She says, no disrespect to Deuce and Joe, but she prefers Off in the Weeds. That's why I think it's a woman. Yeah. And listen, we're all, this is a male-centric thing. I understand that. Mm-hmm. I still very much enjoy Brand X, not forgetting the Jimmy, but the Jimmy again. Look, do you know that I'm the Jimmy from the Brand X podcast?
That was the best.
only just getting to know him. Any plans for doing more podcasts with Jessica? Not at this time. We're not. I'm not. And she's lucky. She. I don't know who this is. I apologize because there's no gender. It's hard to tell. She is lucky to work where she can listen to a podcast all day. So she tends to go through about 7 or 8 a day, and makes the day go quicker. So good. That's that's actually what we're trying to do. Like, you got a mundane job, and you listening to podcasts, and hopefully this podcast will just make that day go a little bit faster.
Day go.
Day go.
Slur?
Day go. The day go faster.
They come, they go.
Exactly.
You know what? That's that could be a next Brand X t-shirt.
They come, they go?
No. Just put, it's the Jimmy.
It's the Jimmy.
It's the Jimmy.
He'll want to cut.
Just put
picture of his face.
Well, no, just put it, it's the Jimmy.
It's the
right.
Jimmy.
It is the Jimmy. Okay. The podcast that didn't come out last week.
You're just going to dwell on that, aren't you?
Well, it was, listen, sometimes you don't hit a home run. We try. We do our best, but, again, I blame myself for all this.
Well, it's also the magic of doing it live.
Maybe we should try not to.
What, do it live?
No, try not to hit a home run.
What?
Yeah, you win games that way.
Let's just be average. Because that's what everybody wants to listen to, an average podcast. No, we're here to knock it out of the park every time. Every time. So as I was licking my wounds on Saturday.
Drunk.
Now, I was,
and
you know what, I might have been drunk because I woke up, I wasn't hungover. So I thought to myself, well, either, I'm getting
You certainly
better.
sound drunk in that thing that you recorded.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, so what happened was, I was drunk when I recorded
Did you ever
that.
see that, like, A Hard Day's Night, the Beatles movie where Ringo was all disconsolate walking along the canal? Like no one loves him.
That was me.
That's how John was.
So I pull up after the 6 Jack and Cokes and a bourbon over ice. I come home, and I'm sitting in the truck in the Redneck studio outside. I took my iPhone out, and I used the app Anchor, and I just did 5 minutes? Did I do one? I don't even know. I didn't even listen to it, to be honest with you. And I put it out.
Did 2 of them, and he sliced them together, I think.
Yeah. So anyhow.
Oh, one more thing.
And I went back. Right.
Shiny.
So I go, all right. So I was a little having a pity party. What do you want from me?
He was the wine with that cheese.
Yes. That's exactly what happened.
Cheese with that wine.
So Dave, the producer, called into our phone line and left this message.
Hey guys, this is David, the producer. I had an opportunity to watch the show on Facebook today, and just want to say that besides for the technical issues, off-center video, Deuce interrupting you, the incredibly awkward transitions, John's anger issues, and breaking down the fourth wall saying how much the show sucked, I really loved it.
There you go.
Keep up the great work, guys.
He nailed it. He absolutely nailed everything that was wrong with the show.
Yeah, well, he went down the list.
Right.
Aside from, it was a good
perfect.
show.
And a guy, I got to tell you.
You're really laying the groundwork for people to want to download that next video.
Yeah.
Right. Well, when I get done, maybe it'll be, maybe I can cut out the stuff that wasn't so good. That's what I do.
That's the issue, because once you're done, if we didn't do this live, nobody out there would know.
Right. But then again, isn't that kind of part of the?
Because we never used to do it live.
Right. So nobody would. You're right. Nobody would know.
We had a couple of podcasts like that, and after you got done editing and breaking it down and and repositioning things,
even now, my friend Dave's saying his girlfriend is watching as well. Let's give a shout out to Maria.
We don't do shout outs.
Well, we do now.
Okay.
We got a fan.
That'll be cut out.
So I'll tell you one thing. In the regular podcast, that'll be cut out. No, just so
you just lost a fan.
Oh, we did, please. So Doug from Who's Right, you would think that after that last beating that he took when he called in, you think that was it. He'd be done. Oh, no way.
Yeah.
John, Doug, Who's Right? I just got done listening to you badmouth me for 20 minutes after you asked me to call.
I asked everybody to call. I didn't just ask him to call.
We told you.
I told everybody to call. He chose to call. It's not like I said, Doug,
Oh, wait a minute. First of all, he said, oh, here you go. If you want to tell us how we do it, what you think. And then you played his call.
Well,
and then you went on a rant.
Well, because I put a lot of work into something and he didn't like it.
If you don't like what people are going to say, don't ask. Don't.
Can I have a rebuttal to their rebuttal?
No. Not if you solicit their opinion on something.
Apparently, I can because I did.
Yeah, because apparently, once again, this is why.
Well, I mean, if you and I explained what I did too.
Of course, you're social bully in that
social bully,
technical bully.
So again, I want to try to explain if I have to explain the bit, it's really not. So I will try to explain the bit. So what happened? We were talking about the woman who just won the 336 Mavis, and we were talking about that, and that the premise was that she was getting so many phone calls. Mm-hmm. The phone was ringing off the hook. So as you guys were talking, I was doing the thing where the phone kept ringing.
The Jimmy.
And the Jimmy was trying to send her a message. And that was he says, I'm interrupting you because you two have something to say that nobody can interrupt you, although I get interrupted all the time.
Well, clearly Doug recognizes talent.
You think so?
In Joe and I. And
okay, so let's go on with his call.
I am a listener.
You are a listener.
My voice needs to be heard. You need to quit fucking interrupting people.
So what I was saying is, when you're doing something like this, sometimes you have to be able to talk about what they're talking about and explain yourself, because sometimes they don't get it. Like when he called in, I thought he was talking about my voicemail message.
You totally misread that.
I totally misread that. So
you are so self-unaware at times.
Right.
It's really
So I thought maybe he misunderstood the bit. No. That's why I wanted to. That's
you
why I
misunderstood his call.
I didn't misunderstand his call. I think he misunderstood the bit. All right. All right, here we go. Hold on. Let's finish this up.
Do you got it? Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
And just because you bring some black guy on there to spew catchphrases, that ain't going to change nothing.
Oh, that really these nuts really got under his skin, I said.
Hey, did you pull that?
No, I didn't. I'll have to go back and get that.
Yeah, because I need that.
You need these nuts?
Yeah, I need that as my soundboard.
Okay, there we go. I'll get it for you.
Everyone needs a pair of these nuts.
Doug hates it when we interrupt him. Hold on.
So I ain't got nobody here standing by my side. So I'll tell you, suck my dick. Anyway, good show, man. Yeah.
Okay, way to finish strong there, Doug. Way to finish strong. That's what I like. Right to the end. Yeah, I'm done. So anyhow, Doug from the Who's Right podcast, check him out. And again, that was part of that was kind of tongue in cheek. Well, no, not really, because he did piss me off a little bit. But then by the end, I was.
You know what the stammer is for Doug?
What?
That's his. In all honesty.
Oh, you think that's what it is? All right, Doug, get yourself a crutch word. You need one.
A crutch phrase.
Yes.
Because I think you're up to about 18 so
that's
far
possible.
tonight.
Yeah, maybe. Possible.
Listeners, when you listen to this, count how many times John says to be honest or some derivative thereof.
All right,
and let us know.
While you're doing that, you can also count how many times Deuce interrupts me while I'm talking.
That's irrelevant to the conversation.
Oh, yeah, that's irrelevant. All right.
Irrelevant.
Like a Dalek.
Irrelevant.
We really appreciate you listening tonight, and we know we are on some networks, and Radio Vegas Rocks is one of them, and you can always check us out, except this week, on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific, and then on Monday mornings, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Pacific. And we are also on Slings, Flings, and Dingalings at 8 o'clock Wednesday evening. And then you can always hear us over on the Hush Your Face Network. Lot of shows over at the Hush Your Face Network. I'm hearing rumblings that there's some big things in the works over at Hush Your Face, and I'm excited about it. I talked to Rocky today, a message back and forth, and hopefully, in the next couple of weeks or something, we might have some big news. Big news.
Big news.
All right, podcast shout-outs.
Wait.
No?
No.
What?
You should tell people to buy Brand X gear.
Oh, what am I thinking?
You're not.
You're not.
So, say you want a T-shirt. And you want the Brand X T-shirt. Well, we got you all hooked up. All you have to do is go to brandxpodcast.com/gear. And there's all kinds of shirts over there, all kinds of colors. And they have women's shirts, V-neck shirts. You got phone cases, all mugs, all
hoodies.
That stuff. Hoodies. That's right. Hoodies getting cold, a little chilly.
I got my hoodie. Not on tonight. It's a little warm, but it's coming out.
So you can go over there. And if you go over there and do that, we get a little portion of that to kind of defer the costs of what it costs you. We don't ask you for Patreon. We don't ask you to pay us or anything like that. So, if you want to buy a T-shirt, you get a good T-shirt. They're nice quality, aren't they, Deuce?
Yes.
What would you think? They are. I was shocked. They're not that expensive. It takes you a little while to get them because they make them.
They're made to order. Like if you got a T-shirt, for example, I'm not lying. Or I'm not exaggerating. I think there might be like 18 or 20 colors available.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a couple of shades of blue.
Oh, wow. Usually
a couple of shades
6,
of red.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's they come in a variety of colors and styles.
And they have a bunch of different shirts. Like even the basic T-shirt is a good quality T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one I have. And because I wanted to get the basic
Super fan Dave was in here rocking his
That's right.
Brand X logo in black. He looked like a superhero because...
Yeah, Christmas is coming. Holidays are coming. Great birthday present, huh? Christmas present.
Yeah.
For your Brand X.
Or Hanukkah.
Right. That's right.
However that's pronounced.
Hanukkah.
So you can always check that out, brandxpodcast.com/gear, and head right on over there. And we'd appreciate it. And I think you'll enjoy the shirts. I really do. And someone will say, Brand X Podcast, what the hell is that? And you can tell them, and then they'll subscribe.
Mm-hmm. Or just watch on Facebook.
Holy cow. We're having the podcast shout-outs. Here they are. Mm-hmm. All right, can we do the podcast shout-outs now?
Now we can.
Yeah. Okay, good.
If you were looking for some other great podcasts to check out, we highly recommend these podcasts. 3 is Comedy with Jason, Bob, and Mendy, part of the Hush Your Face Network. Tonight was their final episode as Bob is moving on to other things. Bob has been doing stand-up for quite some time, and it sounds like he's going to be pursuing that more vigorously.
So
we certainly wish him the best. Jason and Mindy will be continuing in a couple of weeks with a new podcast. Obviously, it won't be called 3 is Comedy because it'll just be the 2 of them now. So we await their new podcast.
Right. And that'll be on the Hush Your Face Network.
Also part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Right. Bad Cop. Great show this week.
What, no sound effect? Or you lost it?
Well, I was...
Yeah, he's kind of stumbling.
No, I didn't lose it.
He's all petulant.
I tell you guys are killing me.
Because you got us into a rhythm. We always expect to hear the siren.
Well, here's the thing. I used to have it where next to the Bad Cop stuff, but then I moved it alphabetically, and I'm like... So at that moment, I'm like,
now it's because it's alphabetical.
Yeah. So you're not a tree, you can't bend.
I just bent, didn't I?
You're a stump. You don't bend at all.
Guys.
Okay, right. Who's right with Doug and
Wait a minute, I'm not done yet.
I'm sorry.
So anyhow, they had a good episode, and they were talking about Jerry Sandusky, the pedophile from Penn State, and Joe Paterno. And I got this great little soundbite from...
Jerry doesn't like girls.
So then I was like, boy, that's a great one. So I figured I'd grab that and use the one I had before. And now I have...
Jerry doesn't like girls.
You know how straight I am? I'll fuck you in the ass to prove it.
So now you know why I don't want those guys to get a hold of that video where I was saying it.
Yeah, they're going to get you.
This is how an arms race starts.
Yes, it is. Well, no, I'll be honest with you. We're just kidding around. We're just breaking.
Yeah, but it becomes a game of one-upmanship.
Yeah, I guess it could be.
That's what it wants to be.
Well, what do you care? They don't do it. They'll never grab you. It's me. Like when I was talking about the mixer, I said I don't know how this. I'm going to keep playing with this thing until I can figure it out. So they're playing that on their show, which is fine. No, I like it. It's funny. I like it. I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Okay, we good? Okay, who's right with Doug and Anthony? Part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Pat and Mellor Show with Matt Miller and Viola Pedros, also part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Bold and Belligerent with Lorne, Josh, Mike, and Luke.
Unwritable Rant with Juliet Miranda.
You know, I am proud of you how you've mastered Lorne with my help with your elucidation lesson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Rob and Slim Show with Rob and Slim and Slambo and Amanda. Now it's Sleepy
Lucas.
Sleepy Lucas. Slambo is no longer there. Part of the Hush Your Face Network. I did hear you on the show.
What'd you think?
You sucked. They were great.
Come on.
No, it was great. He's all crestfallen, like I'm serious. No, it was.
I guess I should ask you off the air.
It's a great show, and you had a nice. You did 15, 20 minutes. You were on there. You followed Mellor.
Yeah, Matt Miller. He was on first.
Pat and Mellor.
Right.
So yeah, it was a great episode. It always is. I mean, those guys they slug it out, man. I don't know how they have the energy.
3.5 hours, man. They just
and every show is that long.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how they got to be taking serious cocaine or something because
bus pills.
There's enough
bus pills.
There's enough coffee on the planet for me to do a podcast that long.
Mm-hmm. Ice in the face with Sarah and Rick, and they finally got the social media where I talked about them as using Sarah's voice as an app to stop
the fat
people.
Shaming app.
The fat shaming app, and they seem to enjoy it. They shouted it out and said it was funny, so I'm glad they liked it. And check them out. Now they haven't been putting out episodes. I think they're having some issues. I don't know, personal issues or something like that. But when they do put one out, it's a good show. I like it.
Horribly Awkward. Sean Fowler, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Now That I'm Older with Shane and Kenny.
Toe on the Trigger with Daniel, Nicole, and Courtney 3000. He's on a break right now. He's hanging out with Trinity.
Is this his third or fourth week? I
don't know.
He's almost back.
He's almost back.
Yeah. It's a 6-week hiatus.
He's been trying to make me. He's trying to
throw up, basically.
Well, yeah, he's sending me all this dark humor stuff, and he sent me one the other day, and I didn't understand it, so I had to say, "Well, what am I looking at here?" And it was like these 3 manly guys or 4 manly guys, like real beefy guys, and there's like a toddler there in a with no shirt on and a diaper, and it had a name underneath of it. I forget what the name was, but it was supposed to be a porn site. So I'm like, I don't get this, and he goes, "That's a porn site," and I'm like, okay, so you're telling me that these guys are going to wear that toddler like a condom? Is that what this is all about? And he's like, no, you're getting it. I'm like, okay. I mean, I get the darkness, but I mean, I don't know.
Meanwhile, at the NSA.
Right.
Yeah, right.
What's going on here?
Boy.
Like, yeah, I couldn't, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's dark. I mean, what would be darker is if you put the kid on as a condom and tried to fuck another guy.
Now you will be going directly to jail, not passing go, not collecting $200.
I'm saying, it's not,
the black helicopters are on their way.
It didn't happen. I'm just saying that would be darker humor.
Yeah, that would be disgusting humor.
There you go.
Okay. The story behind Emily Prokop.
The Nerdwells podcast with Eric, Sam, and Chris, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
The Horrible Gamers with Jesus, Ryan, Eric, and Gunny, also part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Epic Film Guys with Nick and Justin.
Everyone has a podcast with Adam and Brian.
The Naked Porch podcast with Ray, Danielle, and Chris.
The Hoonan with Rocky.
Right, now he has other co-hosts, and I forget what they are. His other. And he even wrote it down. Like, he put it in the chat, and I didn't copy it down.
You suck.
I do suck.
I think he just popped up here a little while ago. I don't know.
I'm not surprised. He's almost omnipresent every time we're on.
He's one of the hardest working guys that rock.
Yeah.
He's he really does promote our shows and the network.
Everybody on the network.
Yeah, he does a great job. And another guy just works his ass off, helps independent podcasters, gets no credit. No, I just think it's selfless what he does.
And the Bro Ron's podcast, before we forget.
Yes. I think it's Daniel is the one guy, but I can't think of the other guy's name. The blind guy's Daniel. Blind Melon Daniel.
So,
what?
Someday,
we'll get it.
You'll update
this. We'll get it. We got time. Where are they going? It's a work in progress. What can I tell you?
And we go into the bad Jay Leno invitation.
All right. And of course, I was supposed to have a readout so we could all read, one of us would read so we didn't have to be awkward when we leave the show tonight. And that didn't happen yet. But again, a work in progress, right?
Yeah,
so I'd like to thank you. And listen, we would really love it if you joined us with the Time's Yours. We have a phone number, and that phone number is... Damn it. What's the phone number?
You don't know the phone number.
I know it's 856...
Oh, I know that.
Joe A. Bags 3.
Joe A. Bags 3, that's it.
8 Joe A. Bags 3. But I can't remember the number. Oh, this is horrible. You know what I'm going to do when we get done with this?
Yeah, you're going to go to a phone and you're going to look at the letters, what that correspond to the numbers.
What I'm going to do is when we get done here, I'm going to actually record this like I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to patch it right in there. So, but if you guys are listening on Facebook, you can always catch us on Twitter at BrandX Podcast.
And you'll also know the truth.
Yeah, you'll know the truth.
For everybody else, it'll be
smooth.
Use the amnesia ray.
You mean the revolver, sir?
Precisely.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I'm going to use the amnesia ray.
And we're on Facebook. You can always go over and check out and
we're
like our
also
page.
On YouTube.
We are on the YouTube.
Yeah.
BrandX Podcast. And we actually have an Instagram account too, BrandX Podcast. And you can always find us over at brandxpodcast.com. We really appreciate you hanging out with us and letting us be part of your life and letting us be part of your day. And we'll catch you next time. you shut the fuck up so I can end the recording?
That's it. We're just getting into it.